we've been working on this because beginning of the show, I want to talk a little about inside look at what does it take to get all these sporting events here in Polk County. They just don't show up. It's not like, oh, we feel like going to Polk County, to host this event. No, it's a competitive environment where you have, you're competing against New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, Miami, Disney, Wide World of Sports, and so on. One of the people that's responsible, now this year, Polk County will have recruited and hosted 272 sporting events. Amazing.
Unreal.
COVID year. More than anybody in the state and I believe in the Southeast. Part of that team is sitting to my right, to your left, for those of you that are directionally impaired, and that is Raelyn Dessart. Do I say that right? I can never get it right.
It's Dessart, but
Dessart.
close enough.
Yeah. Well, she was really smart because she married a good Wisconsin boy.
I did. His name is also Mark.
Yeah, his name is Mark. So, there you have it, everybody. But, just like in The Wizard of Oz, don't look behind the curtain. Well, this is sort of the curtain, behind the curtain over here with Raelyn, because she is the primary person responsible for filling up the Advent Fieldhouse the entire 2020 year.
Yeah.
And I think you have 42 of 52 weekends booked
next year.
2022.
Correct. 22.
So, how does all this happen? These guys are just floating around there and you just grab one or two? Or, how does it work?
It doesn't happen overnight. When I came in, luckily, the sales rep before me, he had already filled the majority of the 2020 calendar. Obviously, with COVID, that changed a lot. We had to do a lot of shuffling. There was cancellations for numerous reasons. So there was a little bit of new recruiting as well, especially when you had to fill the gaps. But, there's numerous ways that we do that. We go to shows, conferences all the time out in other states, and we sit with event organizers and we discuss, our facilities and what they look like and what our area has to offer. And they as well tell us how big their event is, what it's like, and the people they bring in. And we just discuss from there, even after the shows, and decide if it's going to work best for the both of us. And that's just kind of how the recruiting process happens. There's other ways, RFPs we fill out, bids, we go out and figure out what events we really want to go after. We fill out their bid process and we find out from there. Sometimes we just get emails from other destinations that have an event that didn't work for them but might work for us, and there it's all about relationships. So
it's kind of like almost how I kind of equate it. You almost kind of like playing matchmaker.
Right.
You go out and you get we have the inventory right here in Polk County of different facilities or places that we could host events, and we go out to see what event we could host there, and trying to match them up, the people that we meet and that you all go talk to. Where would your event work best? And then it not only do you all go that initial matchmaking kind of process, but then it extends after that. What kind of things do you do with these event organizers once they say, I'm coming to Polk County, I'm going to bring a 100-team event or whatever, and we're going to be at the Advent Health Fieldhouse? What are those next things that you also help them with once they get here?
So there's a lot of different things. The first thing they ask is, can you help us with hotels? So we reach out to all of our hotels in the county and we try to get the best rates that we can for them during their weekend, and we provide that information to them along with the contacts, and they can go from there in booking their stay. We also give them, we have a brand new app that we use, and we have a Polk Savings Pass as well, and we send those to our event organizers to send to their spectators and participants, and they can use those while they're here in the county to save at the restaurants and look where they want to go and things like that. We also have our visitor information center. We have people that can come out to the actual event and do the exact same thing. Even with health and safety, we've used them for that with COVID and everything. That's been a huge help for us in making sure that they feel safe in those facilities. So those are a few things that we do, but there's other things like offering them coolers and golf carts for our outside facilities and different things like that.
Now that all goes into it because, I was talking about the competitive side of this thing, and before, starting the sports marketing program, I came from a U.S. Olympic Committee governing body. And so, I was dealing with communities all the time, and you know what to look for, what's a red flag and all of this type of stuff. What are some of Polk County's competitive advantages? When Disney says, well, we can provide this, you've got to have more than an elevator pitch, if you will, to say, now, this is the best place to hold your national championships. I
Right.
mean, what do you lean back on, or what do you go back to?
I mean, there are a few different things. I would say, obviously, the location is key because they're not having to stay in these high traffic areas like Tampa and Orlando. They can stay in Polk County. Even if they want to go to Disney World, they can still travel there as long as they stay here in our county. And I mean, there's other things like just the family-oriented things that we have, especially with Legoland being near the Winter Haven Fieldhouse. That's a huge draw for Polk County, as well as having a brand new facility. I mean, that's a huge draw as well, getting people to want to come here. So I think all of those things combined, really.
So if you look back over your career with Polk County sports marketing and all the recruiting that you've done, you know, and obviously filling up the Advent Fieldhouse, nobody thought that was possible. You did it. What was your biggest recruiting success? Not necessarily has to be the largest
Right.
event, but the one that you're most proud of.
I would have to say the cornhole event that we did during Super Bowl weekend. It was the American Cornhole League. They held their nationals there with 250 pros. So like you said, it wasn't the largest, but we did have a live airing on ESPN2, which is huge, as well as 4 additional re-airings of the show. And we got a commercial spot. So for visibility purposes, that was one of our largest events. And I think it was a huge success. We even had celebrity guests there. NFL players, Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, Doug Flutie, Rashad Jennings. I mean, I don't personally watch football, but those are big names, and we were really happy to have them there. So.
Well, Raelyn, that's an inside look into a little bit what goes on behind the curtain. It is super competitive, hyper competitive market, and you've done a great job. I think those accomplishments are probably second only to agreeing to come on the show, because I know that you weren't real thrilled about that. But one of these days we're going to have you host the show along with me.